Hi all, and another question I wanted to go through from the chapter. It's brief exercise 6.25. A couple of reasons I want to do this one and give you a chance to look at it. One, it's a consignment question. Consignment questions, not all the time, but with regularity might show up on the first midterm. It's a good example of revenue recognition issues. What we mean by consignment is a company is shipping their inventory to someone else's location to sell it from there. So it's not actually a sale, it's just a movement of inventory. Another reason I want to do this, I'm going to highlight as I go through. The first midterm, you will complete the long answer questions in Excel. So I'll just drop a few hints as we go along the way as to how I would hope that you would format it. So BE6.25, they talk about consigned 500 electronic play systems. Consigned means they ship the inventory to someone else. So they ship this to Yo-Yo Toys. There's a shipping cost, and then there's a sales summary remitted that the goods actually sold to a third party. That's pretty much the format of any consignment question. One thing I do want to highlight on this, on the midterm, on any exam, in any course, make sure you answer the questions. You can do all the right work in the world, but if it's not what the question is asking for, it is not going to get you any marks. So in this one, what they ask for, A, is the inventory value of the units unsold in the hands of the consignee. So the consignee is the one who received the inventory, so it's Yo-Yo. And we need to figure out, A, how many units they have, and B, what the inventory value is. So let's look at what would go into it. I've got 500 units at $100. So the inventory itself is worth $50,000. Now they talk about a shipping cost of $1,250. And a key criteria here is that is included in the inventory. Okay? It's not freight expense. The cost of getting the inventory where you need it to sell it is part of the cost of the inventory. So we're going to add that in. So the cost of the initial 500 units is going to be that plus that. And if we go and do the division, we'll see that they're 102.50 each. Okay? So hopefully you all followed that math. How many units do we have left there? Well, if we keep reading, they sold 420. So if they started with 500 and they sold 420, they must have 80 left. And 80 times 102.50 is the value. Okay? So that is the answer to A. Again, don't be afraid to highlight it, bold it, write a circle around it. I don't care. But, right, that's A. That's the value of the units left in inventory. It's the cost of the units plus the freight, and then we subtract off what we have. Okay? The common error students will make is they want to record this $1,250 to freight expense, and then they value all these units in the end at $100 each, and you're going to lose out some marks doing that. B, the profit for the consignor for the units sold. Okay, so the consignor is Japan, and what did they sell for? They sold for $160 each, but they had to pay a 20% commission to Yo-Yo. Okay, again, quite common that there will be fees paid to the consignee. Sometimes we call it an advertising allowance. Sometimes it's commission. So let's kind of walk through here. Sales. They sold 420 units for $160 each. So $67,200. We're going to subtract off the commission. Which is 20%. Okay? So commission is a cost. The other cost we have is cost of goods sold. And that is the 102.50 that we had from up here. And please watch the rounding on the answers. I mean, I'm not that fussy about it, and if you're using the cells to do your formulas, you'd get the right answer. But if I used $103 here, I would get the wrong answer. So I sold 420 units with a cost of $102.50 each. Okay, so again, there's my answer to B. The profit for the consignor for the units sold, what they sold it for, minus any costs they have. And the amount of cash that will be remitted by the consignee. Okay, so a consignment sale, when these get sold, now Yo-Yo sold these things, they've got all the cash from the sale, they need to remit it. So they collected $67,200. They're going to keep their commission. And they're going to remit the difference. And there's my answer to part C. This one didn't ask for journal entries. See, I'm only at 7 minutes. I'm maybe going to do them. Again, when you go to do your midterm, you're going to be in Excel. You need to identify debits and credits. My recommendation would be to put them in columns, so have the debits in one column and the credits just to the right of them. You can write the word debit in or DR, but I wouldn't. I am fine if you've got left and right because debits are on the left and credits are on the right. So, what inventories are there? Well, when I move the inventory, I'm going to debit inventory on consignment, and I'm going to credit cash and inventory. So what I've done here is I've moved $50,000 worth of inventory. I have paid $1,250 freight. And essentially I've just moved my inventory to a different location. So the entry is going to look like that. And again, the most common error here is students want to record the freight as freight expense. And it's not. It's part of your inventory cost. When I do the sale, in my standard sales journal entry, right, is sales. Whoops. I got cash. I got sales. I got cost of goods sold, and I've got inventory. Now in this example, the inventory, we've called it inventory on consignment. The cash I got, we calculated. The sales amount we calculated. The difference here is the commission expense, and we need to record that that is a commission expense to us. You'll notice I don't care if all the debits go first and then the credits. That's not necessary in any accounting software or in any journal entry. Generally, you put the debits first, but don't care, doesn't matter. Cost of goods sold, well, what is my cost of goods sold? I've also calculated that already. It's, when I calculated my profit, was there, and that's what comes out of my inventory. Okay. Not sure what else we could include in here. Again, just watch the terminology. This one called it commissions. Sometimes it calls it a marketing fee or an advertising fee. Could be $dollars per unit, could be a percentage. But other than that, this is very, very similar to what you would see in a consignment question on an exam. Hope that helps. Work through these questions. I know I've got at least one other example consignment question you can go through. Thanks all.